Good morning and welcome. Please take a seat and we will get started. Wow, this is a compliant group. I'm impressed. Thank you very much. I'm glad you're all here. To get us started, I would invite all of us who are able to please stand for the presentation of the colors.
Detail. Up. Right face. Post the colors. Recolor. Present. Arm. Or dirt. Arm. Detail. Left face. Forward. Arch.
Thank you. Please be seated. Hi, everybody. I'm Laura Bloomberg, president of Cleveland State University, and it is my distinct honor to welcome you today to this important ceremony and to this campus of Cleveland State University. I always love when we have community events in this space because of this incredible backdrop. Even when the shades are pulled, we see this incredible sky, this beautiful skyline behind us. And although I am a relative newcomer to Ohio and the county that we are speaking of today and the great city of Cleveland, I am crazy in love with this place and I am crazy in love with that view. And so if I'm really boring or if any of the speakers today are really boring, you got that to look at, and what's better than that, right? So I really do welcome you. I particularly, of course, welcome the man of the hour, our new county executive, Chris Ronayne. I particularly welcome his family, his in-laws and outlaws who are seated with us in the front, and his immediate beloved family, wife Natalie, his son Joe, his daughter Audrey, who's not able to be with us because she's mildly sick but not feeling well enough to be here, and the rest of his extended family. I'm so glad that we're here together with you to celebrate this day. And I also want to welcome the servers in this community that's here. And by that, I mean the public servants, the people who lead our nonprofits, the people who work in our schools. I see many of you here today, and the people who drive the economic engine that is going to ensure that this community in this county thrives for generations to come, for our kids and their kids and their kids. That's essentially all of you. You're here because you care. Maybe you care a little bit about Chris, but you care a lot about this community, and I'm so grateful for that. I'd like to thank our Cleveland State University Jazz Ensemble, who provided you with music. I'd like to thank the Cuyahoga County Sheriff's Department for providing today's honor guard. Chris and I have not known each other as long as many of you have known Chris. I've heard about people who went to prom with him, who were in grade school with him, who are crazy hockey dads with him. Chris and I haven't known each other that long, but I feel like we formed a rather immediate bond and a shared passion for what we can do together. And when Chris said that he wanted to hold this ceremonial inauguration at Cleveland State University, and he asked me if I would make the welcoming remarks and then MC the event, I'm going to use a really academic, technical term here. I was absolutely tickled pink. I couldn't think of a better place for him to do this than here at Cleveland State University. He is an alum, and this is my last shameless plug for Cleveland State University. But will you raise your hand if you are either a graduate of this place or currently employed here? I'm just saying, folks. Thank you to my colleagues who are here, the hard workers who make this space beautiful and welcoming, from the folks who are greeting you at the elevator to the people who set up the chairs, the sound system, and who will help us be ready for a reception afterward. These are the people who drive this place, and I just want to publicly give them a shout out while we're here. Yeah, thank you. When I first met Chris, the thing that struck me more than anything is that he's just got such a low level of energy and is so low-key. No, it was like, hold on to your seats. This guy's going places. He's got an agenda and he's going to make it happen. And I am so struck by his deep core and belief in a few things that stand out to me. He is a man of justice. I really believe that. He cares about equity, which is something that all of us in this county must think about every single day, I believe. And he believes in collaboration, real partnerships. And so I'm delighted by all of that. And I believe that all of the speakers who are up here, who will be up here today, will have that same sense that Chris can be our county executive, Mr. Ronayne, can be a great partner and can help us do really great things. I will get really formal now. And the other thing that struck me is that he really understands at a deep level this idea of service for constituents. I think he cares deeply about his constituents. And whenever we talk, our conversations usually have at least one, if not two, stories about the constituents that our county executive feels a very deep need to serve and support. And I think we should all be proud of that. So today's ceremony is really designed to capture the heart, the drive, the determination, and the enthusiasm of Chris Ronayne as he steps into this role. And I think when we talked earlier this week, he said, I don't know how many people are going to show up. Even if it's 6, it's going to be great. I think that all of you being here today is really a representation of just how much this county executive is interested in building partnerships all across the county. So now I would like to start today's ceremony by inviting the Reverend Dr. Kenneth Chalker to approach the podium to begin with an invocation. Reverend Chalker, emeritus, I believe, is from the church in the circle, the university circle, actually the United Methodist Church. I just have to say that as a newcomer to this city, as I was telling the Reverend earlier, it was my guide star. I knew where I was in the city when I looked for that steeple. This is what I know most about the church, but I'm really glad that you're here today for the invocation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bloomberg. One of the reasons that I'm here, and a great privilege, is that one of the guide stars for Chris, County Executive Ronayne, is the guide star for him is a faith base that enables him to see a greater commitment for justice and peace and affection and regard for all people. Before I invite you to pray with me, I'd like to take a moment just to say, to speak about something that I had opportunity to say on New Year's Eve in a gathering with Chris. And it's to reflect just a minute on the county charter. And I want you to hear just these phrases with me. The county charter is a bit like reading the book of Leviticus. But the county charter says this in Article 2, elected county executive, Section 2.03, powers and duties. This is the third one. Quote, to advocate for the interests of the county with other levels of government and to advocate for and promote cooperation and collaboration with other political subdivisions. Now, I can't imagine anyone more qualified in temperament, ability, experience, and skill than Chris Ronayne to carry out that function. So, with that as a background, and you being grateful that I don't talk more, would you pray with me? Eternal Creator and the source of all that is good, just, mercy-filled, and redemptive, we pause to ask your blessings on Chris Ronayne, who is so uniquely prepared in spirit, temperament, ability, and skill to carry out the duties of his county elected office. We also ask for your blessings on Natalie, all Chris's family, and to be sure on the people of his administration. Empower them as they lead and serve the nearly 1,300,000 of us who make Cuyahoga County our home. We ask for your empowering spirit to be with Chris and his team as they aspire to enable our enormously diverse county to experience healthy communities, healthy economies, and healthy government. Make such goals not aspirations only, but realizations experienced by our county and by all people who live here, whether in Hunting Valley or East Cleveland, and in all the many varied 59 communities which enrich in so many, many ways the fabric of this county. Thank you for this day, for the days ahead, and for the opportunities you set before Chris and his government. Grant to us all, a spirit of encouragement, support, and counsel, that he may succeed in all the ways that are just, equitable, honest, and worthy of your blessing. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Dr. Chalker. We will have a series of people coming up to give remarks, and we will start with the poet laureate, the inaugural poet laureate of South Euclid, Dr. Janning. And as he makes his way to the podium, let me say this. I don't know what Mr. Janning is going to share with us today, but I can tell you that something he wrote online really stuck with me as an educator and as a member of this community. He wrote, "We all have within us the spark of creativity. Sparks need to be fed and fanned if they are to become a reality." So feed us today, Mr. Janning, with your creativity. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you all. On the 3rd of this month, I read a poem to the assembled members of the county council who were being sworn in, and it was called Bridges to Tomorrow. Today, I'm continuing that theme with this poem titled Bridges. It is a new year, a new position, and a new challenge which unwinds before you. The dedication and service you learned from your dad and applied in your life, both public and private, you'll use now some more. Planning and developing visions for our county. Working with council, working with others from all walks of life. You'll work in moments, moments of service, moments of today, moments of opportunity, moments to build bridges, bridges between people, bridges to our future, bridges to tomorrow, bridges to develop, to add to our county, to bring more to the fore, and add to our landscapes of life, to our dreamscapes of time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Janning. That was beautiful. Any of us, any of all of you who hold a public-facing leadership role know that it can be inspiring, challenging, but inspiring, fun, and sometimes it can be lonely. And in those times, it's wonderful to be in the sort of warm embrace of people who know any of us as uncle or spouse or dad or neighbor or simply Chris. So I'm really glad that County Executive Ronayne invited members of his family not only to be here today, but to speak. And so I would invite to the podium Joe Ronayne and Chris's niece. Mallory, you want to come up at the same time? Mallory Kaminsky. You're looking great, sir. You're looking great. Got it?
A quote from John Wesley: "Do all the good you can, in all the ways you can, in every place you can, at all the times you can, with all the zeal you can, as long as you ever can."
A quote from Maya Angelou: "Here on the pulse of this fine day, you may have the courage to look up and out and upon me, the rock, the river, the tree, your country. No less to Midas than the Medicant, no less to you now than the Mastodon then. Here on the pulse of this new day, you may have the grace to look up and out and into your sister's eyes and into your brother's face, your country, and say simply, very simply, with hope, good morning."
Morning.
Nice job. Congratulations. You did a beautiful job. Look with hope indeed, huh? You two are great. Thank you so much. We will be hearing from two esteemed elected officials next. And if I may just take a moment of MC's prerogative, I see a number of other elected officials in the audience. And I would invite all of you who hold elective office to stand for a moment so we could give you a special round of applause. Please stand up. I'm seeing some of you back there, mayors, elected officials. A special thank you for all of your service. So I invite to the podium the Honorable Timothy DeGeeter, Mayor of the City of Parma. And as I was saying to Mayor DeGeeter before we started, there's a lot that I know and a lot that I don't know about this esteemed mayor. But here's the thing that really stands out to me, particularly in this past year. He has set a standard for what it means to be an ally to sisters and brothers in another country through his strong leadership and support of the people of Ukraine. And I have a personal note of gratitude for him for that. But I think all of us share in that sense that when we are good neighbors to our international brothers and sisters, we are good neighbors to ourselves. And I really recognize Mayor DeGeeter for that. Please join me in welcoming him to the stage.
Morning, everyone. It's an honor and a privilege to be here this morning and offer remarks at the ceremonial inauguration of my friend, our friend, Chris Ronayne. I'm glad to follow his son and niece for two reasons. One, I'm not following Mayor Bibb. You got the joke. And although his family members are a tough act to follow as well, but the second reason is having his family up here provides a glimpse of how much his family does mean to Chris. I've gotten to know Chris through the years, and we've met a number of times to discuss policy and strategies to move the county and my city, Parma, forward. But we never lead off with that. We always begin talking about our families, how our kids are doing, how's coaching going, what tournaments are coming next, and then how important it is to strike a balance between a public career and being the best father and husband you can be. I often say that being the mayor of Parma is such a privilege, the most rewarding and, of course, challenging job I've ever had. But that my most important job is being a good dad and husband. And I know that Chris feels the same way as he begins his tenure as our county executive. I think understanding the importance of family in your life is an invaluable guidestone as a public servant. Your family grounds you. It's a touch point when sharpening priorities. And it helps to connect you with the people you serve. And that's something you're going to find out about Chris and what will make him a really good county executive. He's great at connecting with people. He meets people where they are in life, and that's a critical skill to have as a leader. That's because it lays a foundation for bringing people together to get things done. And that's exactly what the role of the county executive is all about. Chris, I know I speak for everyone in this room when I say that all of us are looking forward to working with you. And that as county executive, you're going to bring all of us together to make our county an even better place to work, live, and raise a family. Thanks again for the honor and privilege of being part of this ceremony. My best. Thanks, Tim.
I may have neglected to mention that Mayor DeGeeter is also an alum of CSU. We got Levin College over here, College of Law over there. Although I'm not able to say that about our next speaker. I am absolutely delighted to introduce our next speaker, the mayor of my city, this campus's city, a remarkable leader for Cleveland and the area, and I know a remarkable partner for our county executive. One of the things that I've heard Mayor Bibb say often is that when he builds a leadership team And when he does the work of the city, it is going to be done with people who look like and reflect the city. And I think that is such a powerful message for all of us. And although, candidly, this guy is young enough to be my son, I will publicly say whenever I can, I would follow him anywhere. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Cleveland's Mayor, Justin Bibb.
Thank you. Well, Dr. Bloomberg, a PhD might be in my future, so you never know. I'm just so honored and humbled to be here to celebrate the inauguration of my friend, my brother, and my new governing partner, our county executive, Chris Ronayne. Let's give him a round of applause. You know, in my long time as mayor, the last year I've been mayor, feels like 3 years, by the way, feels like 3 years. I've learned the importance of family in a way I didn't appreciate before I got elected. And I want to just signal out the importance of the amazing family that supports Chris, Natalie, Joe, and Audrey. Today is about you today as well. Let's give you a round of applause. I've known our county executive for over a decade now. And there are a couple of things that I love about Chris. Number one, by the time I wake up at 8 a.m., he's already made 5 tweets about the history of Cleveland. He's a walking encyclopedia about Cleveland, by the way. But the second thing I love about our county executive is that this man not only loves this city and loves this county, but he truly represents the best of public service. The best of public service. Last week, we had the privilege to join each other for the first time on the stage at the retreat for Leadership Cleveland. And the conversation was focused on racism and equity and justice. And the executive didn't go in a whole lot of specifics about public policy and his 5-point plan to turn around the county. He didn't list a laundry list of data and research about the issues we face around racism and equity in this city and in this region. Chris talked about the woman he saw in our community who needed a bed and a shelter to go to because she was one bad night away from committing suicide. He felt it. That's the man I want leading our county. That's the man. And so Chris and I have a lot of work to do. We have to make sure we turn our community around for the next generation. We have to make sure we show the world the greatness of our freshwater capital, Lake Erie, right here in Northeast Ohio. But we also have to encourage each and every one of you to be a part of this movement because Chris and I can't do it alone. We can't. And so let today be a call to action to each and every one of you in this room this afternoon. That, as Dr. King said, we all can be great because we all can serve. And so find a way to serve. Mentor a child. Serve a food bank. And support Chris, not when he has good days, but when he has bad days, because he's going to need you when those days get hard. Let's get to work. God bless you all. Congratulations, Chris Ronayne.
Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, Mayor Bibb. You ready?
I can't follow that either.
I know. Some of us talk about where we want to appear on the order of speaking for a reason. Right?
Couldn't we have done this earlier?
Yeah, nope, not going to happen that way. I would like to invite to the podium the Honorable Michael J. Ryan. Please forgive me. I know I'm insufferable, but I hasten to add also a Cleveland College of Law alum. The Honorable Michael Ryan will administer the oath of office, and it will be immediately followed by the inaugural address of County Executive Chris Ronayne. Please join us.
Yes, please.
You may be holding that Bible for a little long. Good morning, Cuyahoga County.
Morning, Judge.
Usually people stand when I come to the podium. You're not necessary today. Not necessary today. Again, I am Michael John Ryan, your recently elected judge for Ohio's 8th District Court of Appeals. For some of you who may not know me, I promise you I am old enough to be a judge. Yesterday, when my barber cut my hair, he said, "Mike, you look like you're 18. I said, "My stomach says otherwise." Thank goodness for this robe. It really covers a lot. In all seriousness, my wife, Robin Ryan, who's here this morning, we both were ecstatic when we got the invitation just to be a part of this auspicious occasion, because we had worked so long and so hard with Chris on the campaign. But I was more honored when he asked me to administer the oath of office here at the student center that we both share as alums of Cleveland State University. Chris and I have known each other, people don't realize this, since my first term as a judge, and that was like 17 years ago. Man, time has really flown. And but I personally benefited from the outstanding impact his leadership has had on University Circle. My church, Pentecostal Church of Christ, sits at 105 in Chester, and is deemed to be the gateway to University Circle. And so whenever we had an issue with the church, issue about growth, issue about sustainability, we called Chris. And he came running and provided the assistance that the church needed to sustain its place right there at 105 in Chester. We also connected because he hosted Wade Oval Wednesdays. Yes. What that did was brought thousands of people throughout the county together for me, be able to show my dance moves and my lip syncing skills as well, and also partake of some very good food. But what really moved me watching the dynamic development of University Circle. As a kid, due to my mom's drug addiction, I spent a lot of time on Ansel Road. And so I would routinely walk up to Case Western Reserve University and walk around University Circle. And it was breathtaking for me as an adult to see the progress that was made with that area of the city. And I know that those upgrades were partly due to Chris's passion, his innovation, and hard work. I know Chris will bring those same qualities to the county. And so before I give your oath of office, I have 3 words of advice, or 3 pieces of advice. One, before making a decision, think about the effect it will have on people in every walk of life here in our county. Number 2, hold your fellow elected officials accountable and expect us to do the same for you. And then lastly, as my pastor, Bishop Hannah, said, and also my fraternity brother, Philip Cockrell, who happens to be, where's Dr. Bloomberg? Yes, he happens to be the vice president here at Cleveland State University. They both said in separate messages, which indicated to me that this was a profound statement for me and for other elected officials, is that remember It's about the purpose, not the title. With that being said, and no further ado, Mr. Ronayne and Mrs. Ronayne, raise your right hand. I ask that you repeat after me. I
I,
state your name.
Chris Ronayne,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will-
listen to the judge, no, that I will support, uphold, and defend
that I will support, uphold, and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Charter and laws of the County of Cuyahoga,
and the Charter and laws of the County of Cuyahoga,
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
diligently,
diligently,
and impartially
and impartially
perform and discharge all of the powers
perform and discharge all of the powers
and duties incumbent upon me
and duties incumbent upon me
as county executive
as county executive
in and for the County of Cuyahoga,
in and for the County of Cuyahoga,
State of Ohio,
State of Ohio,
according to the best of my ability and understanding.
according to the best of my ability and understanding.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Judge. Hey, Judge, take one picture with. Oh, thank you, Judge Ryan. I'm humbled. I sometimes get ahead of things. Thank you for my indulgence there. And I'm humbled looking out across this room today. Dr. Bloomberg was right. I wasn't sure anybody was going to show up. I knew my own family would, but thank you to the rest of you, friends that go way back and friends anew. Thank you, friends who are also watching from elsewhere. Not a day goes by that I don't think of the friends who helped get me here. You're all over this room today. And looking out over this room, I think of Newton's quote comes to mind. If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants. It's good to be in a room full of giants. Thank you for sharing your shoulders today and always. And Judge Michael Ryan, it is humbling to stand by your side. It was humbling to stand by your side in the campaign. Robin, to be with you all year long. And I'm humbled by your own journey. And if you don't know about Michael Ryan's journey, look him up. He's an inspiration, and I'm grateful. Raise your hand if you had a campaign last year. Thank you, colleagues. It was good to be at your side. Judges, state legislators. I think it was an off year for council and mayors for the most part, but mayors and council 2 years ago. And other state officials who ran for the state offices. It's an arduous task. It's a lot of work. We all were in this together, and it was an honor to be with you. And for those who didn't run and the public officials who are here, that were here in support, and whether you weren't even in support, I just appreciate your public service, all of you. In 3 weeks in, I can tell you, it's a tough job. To Laura Bloomberg, I was so glad to be at your investiture as you were sworn in as president of CSU. And within minutes of hearing the president's remarks, I think we all knew who we had in Laura, somebody who was going to put students first and the community around her first. And you not only run one of the great centers of education in our community, but you really run a source of hope in our community for what you do for your students and the faculty that works with you. So let's give it up for Dr. Bloomberg as well. I know we're all glad you are in this town leading. One more time, if you went to Cleveland State or taught a class at Cleveland State, I was going to ask the same question. Look at this. Wow. Good to be home, Vikings. I have my Vikings pin on today, Laura, that you gave me. And to the CSU Jazz Band we heard on the way in, thank you. Outstanding. I chose this place for a reason, which I'll come back to, but I also want to say looking forward to Local 4, our musicians afterwards, and to hear a little more. Local 4. It gives me a reminder to thank the ladies and gentlemen of labor for your support this past year. Thank you. Thank you. To Reverend Chalker, who gave the invocation. He's been a long family fave. My mother raved about you. As my Aunt Kay knows today, I wear orange for my mother, her favorite color. She would be so proud that you were here, Reverend Chalker, on this occasion. She used to come home from our church, the Old Stone Church, and once in a while we'd get lucky because Ken would preach at the Old Stone Church on loan from United Methodist. And I would say, I know him from the church in the circle, Mom. Reverend Chalker, he's so strong in his conviction that he was also strong in his commitment to his community, that he placed a big digital sign, Judge Ryan, right next to your church at Pentecostal, the two gateways to University Circle, the other being, we just call it the holy oil can, to your point about the spire, but you know it, the United Methodist Church. And it would have a bright message digitally. And those to get through, as a former planning director, Hunter, I see you out there today, and Bob, Fred, we were always, once in a while, we had to take a break on the aesthetics of the landscape and say, let's do what's right. Because his bright light Times Square-like message board in the historic district of University Circle said, we're all are welcome. And that's what that was all about. We're all are welcome. Thank you, Reverend Chalker, for what you do in this community. Thank you. Doc Channing, thank you. Thank you, the poet, original founding poet laureate of South Euclid, for sharing your words and continuing such an important message about bridge building in this community. That's what it's all about. The whole county staff that's here knows that. That's what you do. And I want to thank the county staff for what you do. In a serious moment, I'm going to come back to, I'm going to go off script a little, but Mayor Bibb brought it up. The work of the county worker. They get too often picked on, pointed out for something that doesn't go right, knocked around. And in 3 weeks, I've seen the incredible work of the county worker. And let me come back to what Mr. Bibb, Mayor Bibb said. He talked about a young lady who's 15 years old who 2 weeks ago came to us homeless. We found a solution. But for kids in trouble in this community, those solutions can be all too temporary, and they need us again. Last night at 6 o'clock, we were back on the phone with county supervisors who were caretaking for the young lady that needed help again. She's with them now. Somebody was getting her dinner last night at the county. People think of county workers, well, they clock out at 4:30 and they're gone. This was 6:30 and somebody was out getting dinner for a homeless 15-year-old girl. That's the county worker at Cuyahoga County. Please remember them. Just like county council that's out here to give a hand raise, please. I think they're right here. Give your county council a round of applause. Thank you. It's a new day. Our partnership, I want to thank Pernell Jones, who's going to be with us in a minute with the benediction, but it's an honor to work with you and your colleagues, our colleagues, all of us in this new era, where I think our partnership will be really, really strong. Thanks to you, thanks to your colleagues, thanks to my colleagues, all of us. I'm looking forward to working with you. And to my friends, the mayors that spoke, Mayor DeGeeter, Mayor Bibb, I'm grateful not only because you run 2 of the biggest cities in the state of Ohio. We're going to get back to number 1, but number 2 city, number 7 city, those are big cities in the state of Ohio that they run. And it's a privilege to have you as friends. I learned working for a Mayor Campbell, who's been with me all throughout the campaign, would be here today, but a fall her brother had, she's with her brother. I learned from Mayor Campbell, you guys have mayors, the toughest job around. You just do. If you're a mayor, raise a hand. Give your mayors a round of applause. Thank you, mayors. Thank you. Thank you. I'm just humbled to work with you. And I want to thank our state legislators who are here. Thank you for fighting the good fight, especially the Cuyahoga delegation downstate. Thank you, guys. And lastly, I want to say, and also by association with the members of our cities, our council members. I see Council President Blaine Griffin out here today. Thank you. And all the council members that are out here. Thank you. Thank you. Our judges got hard work, hard dockets. It's a difficult task. Thank you, judges. Give a raise of hand if you're a judge out here today. Thank you. I have to quick shout out to Administrative Court Judge Brendan Sheehan, because I actually had to get officially sworn in at a moment you wouldn't have wanted to necessarily be at it. 12:01 on January 1 on the river. That's where I was. But Brendan Sheehan came out, left his New Year's party to come out and see me and give us the official, got to get there because you got to start at 12:01. Now, I'm going to say this, and in the record, I'm probably in trouble with my comms director already. But for a brief moment in time, I'm not sure we had a county exec, because the clock struck midnight and anybody that was around the block had to stick around to see what happened with the football game with Ohio State. Well, that didn't happen until 12:03. So the kick was shanked and then we went out. So for about 5 minutes, you were on your own. Anyways, thanks, Judge Sheehan. Finally, my family. You're the reason I got here. Across these rows, I'm grateful to you. Back on the trail, when people would ask me, how's the campaign going? Or even in these first 3 weeks, how's the job going? I had the same answer every time, and I still do. It's great. I have a great wife. To Natalie Ronayne, who's my rock. She's been my rock for 20 years. We just celebrated our 20th anniversary. Can't believe it. I married her when she was 10. She's beautiful, inside and out. She's been my compass, my comfort, my soundboard, my humor, my inspiration, all in one. She's why the trail wasn't too bad. She's why the job is great, because she's there when I need her. Home and in the work world too. We are partners always. To my kids, Audrey and Joey, you're everything to mom and dad. You know that. You are so often the fun outlets and the humor we need in the day. I'm going to come back to more of my family, but to Mayor DeGeeter's point, I remember it was February 29th, leap year 2020. And I had to actually eulogize a friend right in this room, and a mentor, which I'll come back to. But I was rushing into a crowd about like this for a celebration of life. I was rushing from Strongsville because Audrey and Joe had this moment where they were both in a hockey championship at the same time, right before the celebration of life services. So we made it. But then deja vu, Joey. On MLK Day, I had to call Reverend Cavanis and Reverend Phillips and say, it's not going to be easy to be with you today. I have a hockey championship that we were in again. So there we were. Thank you for being the outlet that we need. So, by the way, you won that championship. Congrats, kid. Family, as Tim reflected on and understands, it's got to be a balance in public life. So I want to thank the sister of my mother, Kathy, Aunt Christine, Aunt Kay, who's here today, came all the way from Rockford, Illinois, drove herself through the ice storm. Thank you. To her sister, Cindy, who's watching remotely with my brother, Mike, and my sister-in-law, Bridget. Thank you all that are watching remote out here today from other states. To my mother-in-law, Barb. To my Aunt Ramona. To my brother and sister-in-law, Maria and Sean. My niece, Mallory, who read. Nephews, Casey and Gannon. And stepdad, Leonard. And father-in-law, Gus. Thank you for you. You pick up the slack when we need it. You're always there. We call you the infrastructure. Can you give a hand and a wave, and to the whole Dona family as well? Thank you. So my stepdad and my father-in-law are like dads to me. They have been here for as much time as I was with my dad, who passed a little earlier in life. But their journeys began overseas, and they came to this place, America, that welcomed them. And theirs really is an American story. And I'm always listening to that story, always thinking of others who are on your heels coming to our country. Thank you for being there always for us. And to my parents, who both passed on, my mom more recently, many of you knew her well, but they are here today. My mom used to say, I didn't like to leave the party early. So in a way, mom's right here, dad's right here. They're at our party with us. When we were kids, my brother and I had a lot of rope to explore the world. I think that's important. You give your kids a little bit of rope if they earn it. I've got many high school and college friends here today. By the way, they'll always tell you, never call him exec, he's Chris, because they've called me a lot worse. So they keep it real. The ones will pick you up no matter who you are, where you are, and what your job is. But some of my favorite memories from high school and college tie back to my parents actually giving us a little slack. I sold ice cream downtown as a 16-year-old. A lot of my suburban counterparts said, what are you doing? But it was great. A 16-year-old was given a key to the arcade and never abused it, for the record. But I had a lot of fun selling ice cream downtown, meeting this town at 9th and Euclid, Public Square, the malls, and then I got smart and sold it to the wayward fans of the ball game that were walking out afterwards, usually after a loss, but they had money in their pocket to buy an ice cream cone, and they'd had something to drink, so they bought a couple ice cream cones. Anyways, I bring that up because it was my exploration of the city, and it kind of actually, I think, early on stimulated me to get into city planning, city management, and kind of a gateway to the job I'm in. Mayor, I'm not sure I had a permit for that card. I hope the statute of limitations have lapsed, but anyways, because of the freedoms of my folks, I developed loves of cities. My friends back then know. My parents each wrote memoirs before they passed. Wow, if every parent could do that, right? But they did. And they become lifetimes of treasured insight. Small booklets, do it for your kids, your grandkids. Tell them about your life's experiences. The title of my dad's book said everything. The title is simply, it's a little blue book you keep on the shelf in the living room. And the book title, those of you who were at his funeral years ago remember it. You got a copy of it. It's titled, You Are Important. You are important. My dad said that to my brother and I all the time. You are important. We thought it was a little corny sometimes. You are important. But parents need to say that to their kids. They need to say it to their grandkids. You are important, right? Let them know. Let them know. My mom's was titled Mom Being Mom. And in her final words, in her last days battling cancer, she said, be happy now. You were my great adventure. Let them know. Let your kids know that they're your adventure. We were surrounded by love as kids. It's probably the most critical thing in being brought up is that there's love around you and your education. See a lot of educators out here. Good to see you, Dr. Buddy, today. We were surrounded by love. So just a few more words on my story and what I wanted to convey to you today in the work sense, but to know a little bit of the background may help. If nothing else, I want to share with you the notion that community, we are community, is continuous. It continuously builds. That like the stage light in the back of the theater that stays on, the light in our community stays on if we see it through, if we keep it going. This community has raised me with a constant sense of contributing to it. It gave me the chance to contribute to it and continues to with last year's election. I'm humbled by that. My sense of deeper community did begin here at Cleveland State. And I vividly remember a night after an urban planning class, Dr. Bloomberg, down the street at Levin College, when a fellow student was walking out of class and I offered her a ride. Her name was Catherine, and she looked at me and she said, "Chris, you don't live near me. I live where you don't go." It was like a challenge. I gave Catherine a lift to her home, Mayor, off of Kinsman in the Mount Pleasant neighborhood. It's when I learned about Mount Pleasant. Gave one of my fellow students a ride home. And we made that trip many times. We bonded, east, west, whether you're south, we bonded, neighborhood to neighborhood. One continuous community. So under the mentorship of our professor, Norman Krumholtz, and other professors at the students at Levin College. By the way, how many of you knew Norman Krumholtz? God bless the man. We eulogized him right here in this room, February 29th, 2020. He just opened my world. I became a true Clevelander in the class of Professor Norman Krumholtz. He was 50 years ahead of his time, talking about equity long before in the 1970s anybody was talking about equity. He literally wrote the book, Making Equity Planning Work. The central thesis is do more for those who need more. Be there for those who have less choices. He worked for three very different mayors. Mayors Carl Stokes, Mayor Ralph Perk, and Mayor Dennis Kucinich. Three very different mayors. But one day through Norm, as many of you know, I met the great Carl Stokes when I was a student. And a coffee with Carl that Carl Stokes gave me, I said this so many times on the campaign, give a student a cup of coffee in a half hour because it might change their life. Carl Stokes said to me, change comes in inches in this town. And I've remembered that every day since. Haunts me and motivates me. We've come a little bit further, but too slow. We got to move faster, right? Change comes in inches. Let's move. Thank you. When I was leaving Cleveland State and going out in the real world, actually of county planning, the planning director, Norm Krumholtz, gave me his final words. He said, get out of the cube. Remember the cubes? We're still in cubes a lot at the time. He said, a planner's job is not always behind the desk. Go out and be in your community. And I'd actually encourage our county colleagues to do the same. We got to get out there. And he said to me, get out of the cube. Go see the world. Be in your community. Be proximate. That's what he was saying. And my words to Norman Krumholtz can be summed up simply. Thank you. It's great advice. So I have so many to thank for the chapters in this continuous community development. Thanks to this late Stephanie Tubbs Jones. I was a high school kid. She took me in a class, she took me in her courtroom when I was down doing an observation of a case. She took me right back to her chambers. And then later we became friends when she lived in the neighborhood I worked in on Wade Park, University Circle in Glenville. To Commissioners McCormick and Campbell, thank you for giving me a shot. Then Mayor Jane Campbell gave me the opportunity to manage her campaign and become her planning director. I'm thankful to Jerry Austin, who's out here today. He's been a mentor. Thank you, Jerry. Everybody in politics knows this man, but if you don't, he's that guy behind the scenes. Gave me a shot. With Bill Burgess, both of them gave me a shot. It all built toward this day to become the county executive. I'm thankful for my friends that I worked with at University Circle Incorporated and the city of Cleveland and the county for helping us build this community. So when I decided to run last year, actually, David, it was 2.5 years ago. It was a long campaign. I sometimes make the joke about, if you've seen the Jerry Maguire movie about Jerry Maguire and the goldfish, he's got his goldfish and he looks behind him. Is anybody with me? Who's with me? Early days as mayor, and every other elected will know that there's not a whole cast of characters with you. You're on your own, right? Until that army builds with you. But I just mentioned him. He left his office and his good day job at UCI to come join me as a campaign manager, and he built a great team. I thank you, David, for being the one person aside the goldfish that came with me, and then we built our team. So thank you. I've got lots of others down these roads I just want to thank that have left other good day jobs like the city manager of Sandusky, or persons who've taken plunges into new frontiers at the county and, took some risks with me. I thank you, all of you at the county at every level. We're here to transform the place. And that's what we will do together with our community. I want to thank Devin, Zoe, and Sydney for putting this together today. Thank you, Devin, wherever you are. Thank you, Sydney and Zoe, and others that put this together today. Mary Louise, thank you. Thanks again to the transition team who's helped us transition, but it's not over. The transition is ongoing. It will be. I want to thank our campaign friends. I think every row, every person here somehow, some way worked on the campaign, so I'm not even going to ask you to raise your hand. But you know who you are and you know what you did. You were canvassers. You were consultants. You were parade walkers. You were phone bankers. Anybody who's just come off campaign, we don't do this without you. We don't. It's a team. So I stand on your shoulders and I thank you. Back to Newton's point, I stand on your shoulders. Campaigns are long. Ours was the longest ever. It might have really actually approximated 3 years. But on the day when it came, November 8th, 2022, and I remember walking in with Natalie and saying, our life will flash before our eyes in a nanosecond. We'll know whether we won or we didn't. I didn't know. But we saw the early returns and we made the calculation that we won because of you. Thank you for believing and working with us. Give yourselves a round of applause. We attracted an extraordinary group of champions, you. You were out for us, and now we have the work ahead. To borrow a nonprofit name I just love in this town, Facing History and Ourselves. Some of you know that organization well. But both our campaign and the work now is sort of taking us on a dual journey. I won't call them the best and worst of times, but the toughest of times in some cases, and the most hopeful of times in other cases. I think my job with you is to bridge those. Poet laureate, to bridge, to take the toughest times and make them the most opportune times with our partners. That's what we have to do. On the trail, we immersed ourselves in tough discussions, longstanding issues of poverty in our community, deep faults in our justice system, housing disparity, escalating isolation and addiction, exacerbated by the pandemic, just on our heels. But we also encountered civic entrepreneurs, justice warriors, nonprofit catalysts who are helping every day give people a leg up. And we rediscovered the treasures of our county, from our arts and culture to our parks, our waterfronts, our 30,000 small businesses that are the engine of growth in Cuyahoga County. We talked to mayors and council members who had something incredible to show us in every community of Cuyahoga County. And we talked to citizens who had one good idea after another. I distinctly remember one conversation with a medical professional who said, the legacy of pandemic is your biggest threat. The isolation it caused is the biggest threat to public health. He's here today. Joe, thanks for those words. Thank you. That is it, right? The legacy of the pandemic is our greatest challenge. But I took that challenge and ran on it. Channel the strengths to reshape our region and build a healthy Cuyahoga. That was our charge. The leading disparities of health were right in front of us. The canaries in the mine were our zip codes. A healthier Cuyahoga is a place where your health outcomes and life expectancy aren't predicated on where you live. We want to put infant mortality behind us. We don't want it to be predicated on where you're born, where a mother lives. We want to level that playing field. As Pastor Chalker said, referencing two communities 20 minutes from one another, Hunting Valley and East Cleveland, we want to see in those 20 minutes difference that 20-year life expectancy difference is zeroed out, right? We're going to put the Cuyahoga County of its past in the past, take the best of and bring it up. But the new Cuyahoga of the future, the healthy Cuyahoga, leans in on our strengths in healthcare, to build a greater continuum of community-based care, where social determinants of health are actually improved. That's the new day that my niece Mallory talked about for her generation with Maya Angelou's poem. That's the new morning. The healthy Cuyahoga is all about full access to our strengths. That's it. We have strengths, but does everybody have access to those strengths? Building off the treasure trove of nonprofits that we've built from our community trust over the last century, I believe we can. Our legacy of philanthropy, see Dave Abbott out there today, his whole life in philanthropy, or his last part of his chapter of professional work. All of you that are in the philanthropic world, thank you for being our partners. Let us build the best public-private nonprofit partnership on the planet. If you work for a nonprofit, you have just made this partnership, at least in my mind, of what it needs to be. We talk about the public-private partnership. I want to talk about, out of Cleveland, Ohio, Cuyahoga County, Northeast Ohio, the public-private nonprofit partnership. They are an incredible network in our web of support. Speaking of the planet, I appreciate you out there, Director Foley, today from our Sustainability Department of Mighty 3. We're going to build that up. But speaking of the planet, let us look out to the fresh water a few blocks from here. Let us look out and let us realize what's at our front door. And let us own our own narrative of the place where the river burned to the place where the river returned, where a mayor stood up and said enough, and he helped us turn the corner. Let us claim our rightful story as the freshwater capital, because the story and pledge to ourselves ought to be leading the stewardship of the fresh water. That was Carl Stokes, as you all know, working with his brother to bring forth the Clean Water Act. But every kid in every school, and particularly our youngest kids of color, need to know that story about a leader, a hero in this country who helped bring the Clean Water Act to bear. Because he took our story and he turned it around. Digging deep into history, let us channel Adela Prentice-Hughes, who founded the Cleveland Orchestra, Garrett Morgan, who pioneered safer transportation and saved lives on the lake with his pioneering introduction of the safety hood, Serrano Fenn, right here at the Fenn College before it was named Cleveland State, who with a man named Sherwin helped launch the Sherwin-Williams Company, and to Henry Sherwin's daughter, Belle Sherwin, who was a hero of the women's suffrage movement, to William Stinchcomb, a lot of Metro Parks people here today, who left us the emerald necklace. And again, to Carl Stokes, who extinguished the legacy of the burning river with his brother to catalyze the Clean Water Act. To Ray Shepherdson, who just down the street with Lanny Haddon and others saved the historic treasure called Playhouse Square from the wrecking ball that was intended for a parking lot. To Dr. Kreil, who was a pioneer medical innovator that advanced hospital systems to put us on the map as a global healthcare hub. Now let's use it, first and foremost in our own community, and then globally. These are the giants whose shoulders we stand on alongside yours in the continuous community of Cuyahoga County. We now have new community leaders like Dr. Laura Bloomberg, Dr. Erica Steed, who's here today from Metro. Give her a hand. Thank you, Dr. Steed. Mayor Justin Bibb, and mayors, council members, new state legislators, and judges. Thank you for your leadership. In the Healthy Cuyahoga, we'll channel this new leadership. It's unique. It's a unique moment in our time with the opportunity to leverage the assets we've stewarded over a century in Cleveland. I firmly believe that you, hearkening to the quote my son Joe read from John Wesley, and I was sent that quote in a card on New Year's Eve, the day before we took office, from a dear friend who battled back from cancer. He was a member of Dr. Chalker's church, works over at Tri-C. Andrew, if you're out there, thank you. Those words matter that Joey read from Wesley's quote. It's in your bookmark today that we leave you as a leave away. We'll do all the good we can as long as we can. Let's make that our pledge. We'll do all the good we can as long as we can, and everything in between. Together, working together. Channel the unique moment in time. At this time, new leadership that welcomes ideas, insights, your work to build a better future for Cuyahoga County. A healthy Cuyahoga where our assets are strong, but we'll build a broader, more equitable continuum of community care. A place where our communities and our people will epitomize healthy communities and where we'll thrive, where we'll have a new public-private nonprofit partnership like no other because of the legacy of philanthropy, innovation, and our citizens. And an innovation hub that will build off of being one big college town. That's what Richard Shatton said to me before he passed. We're in a big college town. We ought to act like it, right? Channel that. Retain those students. Help teach those students and keep them here. Yes, we are a hub of education, of innovation, a maker's economy. Can take us to a new level in our new economy and our core competencies, Beju, in healthcare, IT, sustainable manufacturing, the water economy. And speaking of water, where we will rightly claim, and I'm so glad the mayor said it. Thank you, Mayor. Let's say it together, that we can claim our place as the freshwater capital of tomorrow. That to me is a healthy Cuyahoga that we together will advance in all the ways we can, in every place we can, at all the times we can, with all the zeal we can, and long as we ever can, to our future together. Thank you. Have fun.
I'd follow this county executive anywhere too. Thank you. Thank you so much for the inspiration and for your service. In a moment, we'll have a benediction. We'll retire the colors, and then we will head out for a reception. I hope you will all stay. Just got one more parenthetical. I'll stay for every few minutes, but then I'm heading down to watch CSU men's basketball beat Wright State in Dayton tonight. And then to watch our remarkable women's team at Northern Kentucky University tomorrow. But I just digress for a moment. As you leave today, we will quite literally take the words of John Wesley in our hands. We'll have them in our ears. We'll have them in our hearts. And hopefully we'll have them into the future as together we support these great elected officials who you've seen, some of whom you've heard from today, but not all of them. Cleveland Heights, I see you. And I think together we can help build that future that you envision for all of us. You inspire me. I would invite to the podium the Honorable Parnell Jones Jr., Council President of Cuyahoga County, to give us a benediction.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. In full transparency, when everyone was raising hands and standing for going to Cleveland State, I did not stand because I did not go to Cleveland State. But my wife did. She received her master's and my name was on that check. So, yeah. I kind of feel like I should get to take a flag home or something, you know. But God bless. Yes, yes. But I just want to take a moment to, congratulate the county executive, Chris Ronayne, on the campaign and all the tremendous work and our opportunity just to partner together over the next 4 years as the people have allowed us to serve. I knew of his name before we met, and because we've all seen the incredible work in University Circle. But when I had an opportunity to actually meet, we sat down, we got to talk, learned he's a man of faith, a God-fearing man, and a good man, good person. I like Chris.
Thank
I
you.
say that. I like him. You know, I like, and that means a lot in an elected office because there are, as the mayor said, there are dark days that are coming. So we're gonna get prayed up about those days too, because when they come, when you like someone, when you can trust them, then and it helps you get through those days. So we're here to give that benediction, that last prayer, not just to close this out, but to speak to the next 4 years. We're gonna going to go to the throne to bless us over these next 4 years. So if we're all ready, let's all bow our heads. Most gracious and heavenly Father, creator of the heavens and the earth, the author and the finisher of our faith, the all-knowing God, all-powerful God, an ever-present God, and an all-loving God. Lord, we ask for your help this day. Lord, bless the work of the county executive, Chris Ronayne, that you have allowed to be in this special space. Bless his work. Strengthen his hands, anoint his head to do the work. Bless his wife and his family at his side, Father. Strengthen them as they continue to stand with him. Bless him. There's so much that needs to be done. There's so many hurts, so many harms. There is so much that is needed by the residents of this community that have put us in this special place. Lord, you know what we need to be successful. He's been placed here to lead, to be a shepherd of all that is being done in this county government through the executive branch. Lord, give him that wisdom, as you gave Solomon that wisdom to make decisions between two women of low estate. He was able to decide who the child belonged to, and you blessed the people because of that. Israel looked at their king, and they respected him because he had the power to give them justice. So give the power to do justice to our county executive, to those who are abused and neglected, to those who are in incarceration or being held and by the letter of the law are innocent in our county jail until their day of trial comes. Bless our seniors. Help those who need to live independently as long as they can, but are the matriarchs and patriarchs of their families. All the vulnerable people of this community, let us all do the work as elected officials that needs to be done. And help us to grow this economy, to allow individuals to live, to work, and to play here in this community of Cuyahoga County. And Lord, there are difficult days that are coming. We know they're coming. But Lord, we ask that you strengthen each and every elected official to do the work that needs to be done. Bless our hands, bless our heart and minds to do the work that needs to be done. I can't help but think of the children of Israel as they were brought out of Egyptian bondage. They found themselves at the cusp of a Red Sea, their way blocked, a dead-end road, a dark day, no way out, nowhere to go. But you made a way. You parted the sea that made a way. You are a way maker. So when those difficult days come, let's remember that you are a way maker, and we will work together for the benefit of the residents of Cuyahoga County. So Lord, we just thank you. We give you all the honor and all the praise. And in the matchless name of Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen. 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 Amen.
That was powerful. Thank you. Can I get a picture? You come over here.
Thank you for that, Mr. Jones, and thank you for your leadership. Please join me in standing for the retirement of the colors.
Detail, off. Right face. Sand, arm. Third, arm. Retrieve the colors. Detail. Left
face. Forward, heart.
And now, as we conclude this ceremony and celebration of our new county executive, and also as we wrap up a week that began with us commemorating the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King, I say we all head out there to a reception and build some of that beloved community that Dr. King spoke of. Thank you for being
Thank
here
you,
today.
Laura. Let's take a look. There, thank you.